Shalom, I'm going to teach you some Hebrew vowels today. We're going to go in two parts to this video. So the first part, we're going to go over the sounds of all the vowels and teach you what their shapes are. But in part two, we're going to teach you how to actually sound out Hebrew words. This video implies that you already do know the sounds of your Hebrew consonants. If you don't know them yet, you can use one of the charts on our website put out by Lydia Lu Languages, and it's a two-sided chart. I put mine into a plastic sheet protector and you can practice. Or you can also download an app. There is an app called Hebrew Flashcards, and it's available for both Android and Apple. So just check that out on your device and look for Hebrew Flashcards. It's a great way. My kids were able to use it when they were 4 or 5 years old and just kind of go through all the flashcards. So pretty easy. Okay, let's go on to part one, learning what the sound of each vowel is. Okay, up here on my blackboard, I have put a whole bunch of alepphs. And the reason I put an aleph is not because an aleph is a vowel, but because an aleph always takes the sound of the vowel that is next to it, usually under, but I'll show you. So if you also want, you can download this chart and follow along. We're going to go in the same order across, okay? So we're going to start over here. And the first one says ah as in father, and the second one says ah as in olive. Now, it depends on where you live. Here in Michigan, the way I pronounce things, ah and father and ah and olive sound exactly alike. But if you're in Boston, and I'm not meaning to make fun of anyone who is, it's just that's not how I say it. Ah and ah. So it depends on how you say things. So that's why in our chart we say this is for ah and father and ah and olive, okay? Otherwise, they're really similar. They both have that straight across line, and that's how I remember it. This one just looks like a little T under it. Whenever you see that vowel underneath a consonant, that one's gonna say ah or ah. The next one is a dot, and it looks to me just like when I'm making the letter with a dot over it. What sound does that make? It says I in igloo. The next one says in pet, and it looks a little bit like two eyes and a nose, okay? Just like a pet has two eyes and a nose. So in pet. The next one looks like two balls, and when I learned it, my teacher said it was two balls bouncing on the bay. Like here's the bay of water, and there's a ball, and there's a ball, and they're bouncing on the bay, and it says A. The next one, we're going to put a consonant next to it that says Vav, and on top of that Vav, we're going to put a dot. You don't have to have that Vav there. If you see that dot up high, it just says this sound, and the sound is O. Now, hit yourself on the head and go, oh, I know. Okay, so oh, I know, and that's the sound of that vowel. This one is also going to have a Vav, and this one will have to have the Vav because the Vav is going to be there to put a dot. And this one says ooh, just ooh, hit yourself in the gut, ooh, all right? And that one says ooh, ooh as in true. The last one has 3 dots going diagonally underneath. And I want you, it says the sound of as in good, or kibbutz. Now, I want you to imagine there's a kibbutz where they're growing apples, and there are people on the ground, and they are passing, maybe there's a ladder, and someone is up on that ladder, and they are passing apples up the tree, or maybe down the tree at the kibbutz. Kibbutz, okay? It also says in good, or in foot. Okay, so those are the main vowels. There are many other variations of vowels in Hebrew, and I could go on and on with grammar rules, but I'm not trying to make this very grammatical. These are the main ones. I'm going to show you a couple variations. 4 of these vowels can have a yod, and I know you can remember what a yod looks like, that, just a little one. First, I'm going to put it under the olive, okay? And when we do, we'll make an aleph and put the sound under it, and then we're going to add a yod. Now, say it slow like a Michigan person. I. Now, that is the same as the sound hi. I. Okay? Hi. Now, let's do it again for this one. It says I up here. But when we go then this one now says our E sound. All right, I. They don't really go this slow in Hebrew. I'm trying to do it in slow motion. E. Okay, we're going to go down to the sound that says A, 2 balls bouncing on the bay. But when you put a yod after it and you do your little, got to do it like a Michigan person. All right, make your mouth really big. Now it's A. So instead of A, it's really very similar sound. A and A, okay? I think you would see it better if we were in a Hebrew word. But they're very similar. And finally, we're going to do it with the O sound. We're going to take that and we're going to put an O, Aleph, Vav. It doesn't always have to have a Vav. And then we'll follow it with a Yod. Instead of O, it's going to be Oi. Oi, like we would say boy. So, real quick, I'm going to go through all of these vowels. A, 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 O, U, I, E, A, Oi. Now in part 2, what we're going to do is we're going to sound out some Hebrew words. It's really simple. I'm going to assume that you already know the sounds of your consonants and the sounds of your vowels. First of all, let's think about how we sound out a word in English. First, we say the sound of every single letter. This would be k, a, t, and then we say it quickly, cat. Okay, so this is the basic principle in our phonics curriculum. Say it slow, k, a, t, and then say it fast, cat. You could do it with other things. Instead of just the sounds of letters, you could have the sounds of phonograms like ch, a, t, chat. All right, so k, at, cat, ch, at, chat. Okay, say it slow, then say it fast. Now, same principle for Hebrew. The only difference is that in Hebrew, we just go we go kind of backwards as to how we do it in English. They probably say we're the ones that are backwards. I'm going to put up some words that actually make English sounds, okay? The sounds of English words, because we are familiar with those. And then I'll conclude by showing you how it would look in an actual Hebrew word. So if you actually know Hebrew already and you're watching this is not a Hebrew word, not the way we're doing it. So I'm going to sound out the English word hot, okay? But we're just going to use Hebrew letters. First, we're going to start with a h sound, h, and then we already know ha, and then we'll end with a T. We'll do this one, okay? Hot. So you go, it's kind of like you go down, 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 but start from right to left. Okay, so it's backwards of English. They always put the consonants up here and the vowels under it, unless of course it's an O that was up above. Okay, so hot. Now let me try a different one. Let's do the English word for shade. Shade. Okay. In Hebrew, it's actually going to be almost easier. First, we do a sh sound, sheen, and then we're going to put 2 balls bouncing on the bay. Here, I'll get that up there. Shade, dalet, shade. Okay, so start here, shade. Okay, that wasn't so hard. Let's do one more. Let's do the English word boat. Okay, it's just going to be 3 sounds. B, O, T. So I think you've already figured it out. First, we do the sound for B. Okay, then O, I'm going to just put it over a Vav. O, O. And then we'll end with, let's do this one, boat. Now that, again, that is not a real Hebrew word. Okay, so let's do some real Hebrew words spelled and pronounced the way we would do this. And you'll see how easy. Let's do a word that you're familiar with. Let's start with the word Shabbat. So, sheen, sha, b-at. Now I'm going so slow. Shabbat. And you start here. Shabbat. Shabbat. So say it slow and then say it fast, just like you would if you were pronouncing an English word. Let's do one more. Let's do the word Elohim. This one's got a lot of syllables in it, so I thought it'd be a good example. You can't start, since the vowels always go underneath, we're going to need something to hold that spot because there's no consonant at the beginning of this word. It just starts with a vowel, So we're going to use our aleph. And this is the one that sounds like a pet. 2 eyes and a nose, Then we need an L sound, L. So we put a lamed. We need an O sound, O. The vav with the dot on top, Elo, he. We could do a h sound, he. And now we're going to need our E sound. Do you remember? It starts with a E, he. And then one more letter to get the M on there. We'll just do an M that comes, a mem at the end, mem, so feet. Looks like that. Elohim. Okay? So again, I am assuming you know the sounds of all your consonants and the sounds of your vowels, but once you do, it's just Elohim. It's kind of a right to left, up and down kind of a motion. That's it. That's all there is to pronouncing a Hebrew word. There are lots of other dots and cantillation marks that you will find in Hebrew. We're not going to discuss those right now because they don't make a lot of difference to the way you're just basically sounding things out. We'll cover those in much more detail later. Shalom.